Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our FII Weekly Talk with an Expert series. I am Dr. Dravya Jain and I'm joined by Mr. Sanjeev Arora, and we both welcome you today. Today, we shall be talking at length about the scopes in the Indo-Israel business and trade and identify mutual areas of cooperation, I think, which is a must-see for all our business fraternity. Every week, we introduce new industry experts to you and discuss important matters relating to national and international relevance. So before we start our discussion for today, I would like to introduce Federation of Indian Industry and our expert of today. Federation of Indian Industry is a not-for-profit organization. It is an advisory interface between the government and industries. We offer a platform for networking and relationship building within and across the industrial sectors, policymakers, and the international business fraternity. Our Director General, Shri Deepak Jain, he's an industrialist, economic policies advisor, philanthropist, and a writer. He's the National Working President of the Digambar Jain Mahasamiti. He has several papers and policy documents to his credit, which include Economic Vision document for BJP, several papers on economics for Government of India, working papers on Yamuna Action Plan, to name a few. I would also like to introduce our guest speaker for today, Mrs. Alisa Eshet Moses. She is the director of Asian Arab Chamber of Commerce. She holds the position of Corporate Relations and International Advisory and is also a board member. She's a mentor for women empowerment and helping communities at need to find their strength. She's also a project manager, building work plan for supporting unprivileged communities. She's also a World Peace Ambassador at World Peace Tracks. She has been awarded several times, internationally and nationally. She was recently awarded the Asian Arab Awards 2019 for activism and peace. She was also awarded the International Human Rights Advisory Council India for inspiring leadership. Last but not the least, she was very recently nominated as advisor for National Council of News and Broadcasting. I welcome you, Mrs. Alisa, today. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here. Namaste.
So it is great to have you here. And, there are so many things that we in India, we look at the Israeli system, how the government works, how the system works over there. And there were a few things when I was researching about it and which immediately caught my attention. And one thing that I've known for years is there is mandatory training, military training for all the adults at age of 18, and which includes, of course, both boys and girls. But one thing that really stood out to me, that the kind of role this military training plays for women empowerment.
Yeah.
So what are your views about it?
Okay. So as you know, or you don't, I would say Israel is a very small country, 9 million people. And the place we are stated in the Middle East is around Arab countries, which today we have more peace with more countries, but really basically we understand that we have to defend ourselves. Right. Okay, that's our necessity. Now, in Israel, it's mandatory that boys and girls go to the army. When you go to school and when you get 18, you have to go, it's compulsory, you have to go to the army. Now, when I went to the army, girls were not allowed to go to combat. Today, I should say, so many girls are going to combat as I think they use it as a tool, power tool, not just defending the country, because the army will be there even if we don't go to the girls. But because I am the one who's lecturing about women empowerment, if you think about girls that come from traditional families, there is a role for women. You're supposed to have to be a housewife, you're supposed to have kids, get married, and basically take care of the house. Now, this army thing is giving girls opportunity to leave the home at 18, to go to the army, be independent. That means you can acquire so many professions in the army, by the way. You can be a combat, you can go to computer, you can have cyber, everything. And you are disconnected from your home. Now, nobody can tell you, not your father or your mother or anybody can tell you what to do in the army. This is a must from the army side. Israel love the ideas of having women in the armies because we think differently than men. Not better than worse, just differently. So in that way, you can be independent woman today by going to the army, which is a tool that nobody can fight. I mean, you can, in some things, when you have rule in the country that girl can, I don't know, go to school, but the family can fight it. In the army, they can't do anything. You have to go to the army. You have some rules that if you say that you are very religious, they will allow you to do something else, be a teacher, or not go exactly to the army because it will be offending for you. But this is a very low percentage of the percentage of the girls. We as girls, as a woman empowerment, use the army to be independent, to have a profession even, and to make a life for ourselves as we choose. And this is very important. I should say it's also a value. Think about when we go to the army, the girls go for 2 years, the boys go for 3 years. We don't get really paid. It's like 700 rupees a month, maybe. You can't really live on it. But you learn how to give to the country. It's very hard for young people today to give something without getting anything back. So this is also, so you get a really very a good quality of young people going to the army and independent women. So it's a win-win for everybody.
And, we've talked over, the last 1 month, and I've got to hear your wonderful stories, the kind of initiatives that you've been taking in India, and not only in India, but in Israel as well.
Yeah.
One thing, since you were telling the story to me, you were in the military, you were trained for 3 years. And did that somehow motivate you to become an advocate for women empowerment?
Because this is my story, really. I mean, what I lecture about, women empowerment. I come from my parents love me, really, but they are very traditional. My mother was taught that a woman should be a housewife. Now, I was the firstborn in my home, a girl to a traditional parents. It's very hard. So they thought, this is what I need to do. Education is okay, but first I need to find a husband. And then I should have kids and then take care of everything. If I want education, it's okay for me, but I don't need to do anything with that. I don't have to earn my own money. So I know how it feels to fight the system. A family tradition is a system. You really have to fight it. And sometimes I can tell you my parents were very angry with me when I said I'm going to the army and nobody spoke to me. And I said, okay, but this is my life. I want to do that. So that's why I'm really passionate about it, because I know how it feels when everybody tells you, no, you shouldn't do that because your gender. I mean, who would think gender can be something that a reason not to do anything? So that's why I'm doing that in India, in Israel. And since I'm very connected to India, I think there's so much work to do. And it's a bit easier for somebody outsider to do that.
Right.
I think it's easier for us. And if I'm an Israeli, they just take it for granted. Oh, yes, she's a feminist. She can do that. It's no problem. They don't ask the question that they ask you as an Indian. So, yeah. So when I talk about it, I'm really passionate about it. That's correct.
I think, this is a very fundamentally very, I would say, naive stage at the age of 18, when you just adult, and you're still figuring out what to do next in life. And that is when, going through such a program wherein you inculcate those qualities, of giving back and
Yeah.
to be humble, to be independent, to learn how to make your own decisions. I think it's a fundamentally very strong ethic value.
Even if you think about that, we all wear the same clothes. Think about youngs today. Everybody likes this company and this is this brand, and we all wear a khaki. It's khaki, yes. It's not very nice clothes, really. The
Right.
color is not very nice, but we all wear the same clothes. So this is education, and you do it at 18 when you don't know yet who you are and what you want to be. So it's easier to mold you, to something that has values. So I think this is, that's, by the way, that's the reason that we are enlisted to the army at 18. Because I think at 18, we are still naive, like you said.
Yes.
We say, yes, we want to try new things. So that's why they thought about it, I think, before.
All right. So, amongst this, so many things that I was looking at, how we in India function and how in Israel the system works, I did come across the brilliant agriculture system in Israel. Could you please talk about, how the agriculture system in Israel earlier was? What were the kind of problems that needed to be addressed? What
Okay.
new solutions and technologies were implemented, and how that is working out?
Okay. Of course, every solution that Israel has starts from a need that it's something we need. It's like, in agriculture, let me say. Now, in Israel, we didn't have a lot of rain. And every summer we would get, the government would tell us, please don't waste water. Don't water the plants because we have problem of rain. We didn't have enough rain. Now, if you think about the world, the planet, there are so much water on the planet. Right. You have monsoon. There is the sea, which is really most of the planet is water. But we are not using that. So how come so much water, even if it's salty, so much water, and still in 2022, there are places which has drought. This is like saying, okay, you don't have enough oxygen to breathe. Come on, all this, and you don't know how to use that. So that's what Israel did. Israel wanted to solve the problem of drought. And since it was getting, worse every year, I'm happy to say that we have good minds in Israel. We sit together when we solve problems. And by the way, you always solve a problem when you don't have any other choice. Otherwise, you say, okay, we'll do that. Maybe we just, Now in Israel, we have a system that we have pipes from one place to another all over Israel. I mean, we have a part of Israel in the Negev, which is in the east of Israel. It's really a desert. Doesn't have a lot of water. But when you have pipes from one place who has water, you can just, transfer it to the other places. This is logically. So, yeah. But we needed more water to use. So today we have desalination plants. You take water from the sea and you make it good for people. So now we have so much water. It's, by the way, I think also India has some of them because the water is different. You don't have some minerals that you have from the rain. But that's okay. But you have so much water, and that's why we started developing the idea of how to take water from the sea. In India, I think about India, okay? You have monsoons, so much water, my God, really. And in other places, people die from drought. This is, you can't do that in 2022, really. You need to find a solution. So in this way, you can take the water, and you have also water in other places, and you make it suitable for people. So that was the first thing Israel did about water, because we had a problem. Now, some of the water are not good for people to drink. So this water goes to the plants because they need different things. And so, and we have the technology to spread the water all around, do it with digital. I mean, now a person doesn't have to go, get up 6 o'clock in the morning to water the field. You have it automatically. And you can put into the water more minerals that you want. You can, like if you have a coconut, okay? I was in Tamil Nadu, they have a lot of coconut, which is wonderful. Now, coconut needs different amount of water, different amount maybe of mineral. So you do it in digital, and you put into the water whatever this special plant of coconut needs. And this is really technology, and we are good in technology. That's correct. But this is a way to use something that you can build to help the nature.
And I think this technology is basically making use of providing actually judicious use of water resources.
Yeah.
Depending upon the plants.
We have so much water in the sea. I mean, God gave us the sea. We have to use that. We thought it's about swimming. I don't think. And on fish, we can use it for other things also. So yeah, and I think every country in the world has that. You can use that. And if you have sweet water, it's better. But still, you can take whatever you want, whatever you have in your country, which is natural, and use it for the people. I think this is it's sort of a recycling. Taking something you have and using it again and using it again. It's kind of recycling. Yeah. So we are good in doing that, and we are doing that with India today, and with a lot of African countries which has drought and has desert and everything. So we are really good in that.
It's very nice to know about Ms. Alisa. You have very well defined about this water. You just shared your thoughts that how positively you are taking the problem and the solution. Right. So it's very nice to know that. Now, what are the other areas of cooperation? It should be there where we need to concentrate.
Well, I think it's already working, as everybody knows, I think.
Yeah.
One of the other things Israel does is cyber. It all goes about technology, really. We are good in technology, so it goes all around. And today the world is a relation between countries. You see it every day. It's about politics and about cyber and about how you're going to run the country. Of course, everybody heard about Pegasus, which comes from Israel. So I don't know to say if India has it or no. I'm not a official thing to say. But I think this kind of things of protecting the country from other countries, like I know India and Israel and our neighbors, or you have today China and Russia, so many things. I'm not dealing with politics. But you need to know how to protect your country, because if you think about the cyber today, actually a country can decide to shut all your traffic in seconds. Right. Think about Delhi, okay? If in 1 second all the lights in Delhi will be shut down, this is really, in the hospital, everything, it's a dangerous thing. So you need to know how to protect yourself from those things, because Israel is not the only one who knows about cyber. We're just better than others, I think, a bit. But this relation between countries, India and Israel probably, is about how to protect India in all kinds of area. Unfortunately, today you still have country fighting, and like you say, Ukraine and Russia, and this is something you still need. So
Okay.
I guess this is the area that we have a lot of cooperation in.
Yeah. One more thing I want to ask that there are lots of opportunities in infrastructure, tourism, retail. So how about this for with Israel? Like if I want to talk about, like you have said about the cyber opportunities, right? But now if I talk about the retail industries, so what is the current scenario in your Israel, is in your country, and how we
Okay.
can that
Develop the idea, you mean?
yes, yeah,
Yeah, making it bigger. Now, I can tell you some things. Like, we use rice, of course, like everybody. But in the last 2-3 years, we have rice from India. It's amazing. You have a big package with Amitabh Bachchan on it, and we buy the rice from India. Now, we used to buy only rice that comes from Thailand. Now we buy, I think, almost all the rice now in Israel, in the supermarkets, are Indian. So this is something that wasn't there 2 or 3 years ago, I should say. Before the corona, it was different. And also, I spoke about coconut. I went to visit a factory in Tamil Nadu, in Coimbatore, who makes coconut, pure ones. Now, in Israel, we only have from Thailand again. And this is something I'm trying to do. This is amazing coconut. You have fields of coconut. Why don't you import, to Israel? So this is also a thing. Food is important. Now, I'm sure there are many things, other things that I don't know about, but this is the food is something very basically for everybody. So I think this is the first thing that we will have with India, which I think already working, by the way, because when Mr. Modi came to Israel in 2017, which I was very, very privileged to meet him in Israel. This was it was an aura for me who came to Israel. Things started to change. We didn't have really relation before. We had a lot of Israeli who visited India, but it was not officially. It was amazing because so many Israelis came to India to visit, but we didn't have an embassy and anything. Modi started this relation, formal one, with Israel, and it's growing and growing to all kinds of things, not just food, cyber, agriculture, you have sports, everything is now growing with India. So I think the sky is the limit. India and Israel, the sky is the limit, really.
Yes.
Because we love India. Yeah, we do. We really love India. This is amazing.
In continuation with, identifying mutual areas of cooperation, how can FII be better engaged with the Asian Arab Chamber of Commerce?
Okay. Now, the Asian Arab Chamber of Commerce, it does, because it's an organization. It connects between countries to industry. It's like when I was in Hyderabad, there was a conference, big one, who people from India came to a conference, and they were the ambassador of Namibia. Okay, so the thing was talking, seeing how one can help another, not just Israel. Okay, the thing that the AACC, this is the shortcut, does, it connects between countries, it connects between people, industry, and countries, and let them talk how they can do business together.
Right.
So we organize that. We are talking now about a summit in Israel who will bring the Emirates, Dubai. This is a new countries that we have now relation with, which is amazing, I should say. And with Israel, everybody will come to Israel because there is something in Israel that connects all the faith and the people. So it's not politics, really, it's industry. So this is also something we are going to do. We connect between industries and countries, and just sometimes you have to give a nudge to do some things, to push. So that's what we do. And we are starting doing it again because, because of the COVID, we couldn't meet. So that was my first time to meet again the people in Hyderabad when I was in India. So that's why, that's what we are doing everywhere. Although I'm like Israel, but I'm doing it to all the countries.
Right.
So yeah.
Engagement of FII with Asian Arab Chamber of Commerce.
Oh yeah. Well, I just have to connect you with. We have a person in India called Asif Iqbal. He's the head of the ITEO. It's the economic part of the AACC, and he can. I think he just can connect you. And I think you're doing similar things because I understood. In India, you have a few organization who does industry and commerce. So we are doing this similar things. I think together, you just can do more things and have more opportunities and doing connecting more people. But they have, I think, it's like the FYI and the AACC should talk, and then do, because I saw in the Facebook today there is a conference or something with the country. I can't remember the country. Now we are doing the same, so why not do it together in one place?
I think it's time for FII to establish a chapter in Israel as well.
Oh yes, I agree. And yeah, yes, we have to do it.
That would be a step in the right direction and sort of boost the FII and AAC collaboration.
I agree because this is what you're doing now. We are doing now in Israel. It's new. We didn't do it before in Israel. So we had so many plans, but the COVID just stopped everything. So we have to do it again now, and and in Israel we have new government. Sorry. So we have to do it with new people now.
Right.
So yeah, but I think it's, look, if the more people will have doing that in India, the more organization together, it will have more power, and it will be good working with Israel because you have the power. You are huge, India. Yeah. So yeah, I just want to say that coming to India, doing what I did, as before, of course, before everything I prepare, I read, I listen, and I understand there are no Israeli women who's doing that in India. So I'm the first to do that, and I want to expand that because I think Israeli women can help a lot in Indian girls. So this is a new thing I'm doing now.
Sanjeevji, she's been taking initiatives in the Northeast and in down South, and picking up schools, going to the schools, delivering lectures, and connecting with the new generation, especially the girls. And even when all the times that I've talked to her, and not only me, but the girls in those schools as well, she makes sure that she is charging them all up and telling them what actually women empowerment means.
Yeah, motivation is important.
Actually, this is very good.
Very important.
Yeah, no, you are taking very good initiative, and I think this is the right time. And this is the need of an hour also, because our respected Prime Minister is also working on women empowerment. They are encouraging women empowerment, and you are doing a great job.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think it's important, and I think India and Israel will benefit from that. I always say men and women are like yin and yang, and when you put it together, it's a whole. It's a round, and I think you can solve everything when you have women and men working together. So,
which brings me to my next and last question to you is, how do you see the Indo-Israel relationship in future?
I think it's only going to grow because, first of all, tourism. Okay, now if you see on networks, so many Israelis are coming back now to India. So the tourism in India now is going to be for Israelis. This is something that helps Israel and Indians because it's going to be both ways. Okay, so this is something, but I think I believe India and Israel have a special connection and special way of it's a spiritual thing. You know, we have our books and our Torah, our faith. So it's a lot about spiritual things, and India has it just everywhere. So I think this is the first thing that we can connect, and and it will be only growing up in the future, I'm sure, because there are so many things we can do together, and we as Israeli believe that India is a country with good people who will also think about us, the Israelis, which is not very easy to find around the world. You know, politics is politics, but we do believe that this is connect us, and I'm sure it's growing as we speak, by the way.
Yes.
So yeah, so it will grow in everywhere. I think like agriculture, you will see almost every place in India will have Israeli technology. Sorry, we'll have Israeli technology. There are other areas that I can't speak about because it's defense and things that, you know, politician does. So I'm not going to go there. But I think, yeah, I think it's like the yin and yang, men and women. I think India and Israel is the same. It will grow and it will have together. It will just be a very successful relations. I believe that, and I see that happening.
We've all these decades we've seen that India has shared a very good diplomatic ties with Israel.
Yeah.
And with, I think, Honorable Prime Minister's visit to Israel, I think has taken that to another level. And
definitely, I should say, Mr. Modi ji he's good in relationship with countries, I think, and coming to Israel, which was the first time an Indian prime minister came to Israel. Now we are the same age, 74, 5, Israel and India. I mean, after you had the division with Pakistan and India. Yeah. And this is the first time that one of the prime minister of India came to Israel. This just opened everything, really. So, yeah.
I think with all the discussions that we've had today and, you know, talked about agriculture, trade, commerce, retail, tourism, and given the kind of ties that India has always shared with Israel, the future of Indo-Israel relationship looks very bright and a strong one.
Yes,
and
is.
You know,
yes.
Especially when the shared ties are spiritual and you know, on all the strong things, you know, defense, spiritual, I think it does hold a very strong footprint for the future.
I believe that, and I know it's happening, and I'm coming back to India in September, so to do more work, and you will see so many Israelis in the streets. So it's amazing. You know, I was the first bird because when I arrived to India, there were no people, I mean, no tourists. So yeah, I believe it's going to happen. It is happening, and the future is beautiful between Israel and India.
And I think it is safe to say that, you know, right before your next visit to India, God, you know, with the grace of God, we shall be able to establish FII country chapter in Israel.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm working on that now. On everything I'm working on that. It's taking time because we have holidays now, and we have our independent days in a few days. But yeah, it's I have enough time to work on that. We just need to speak to our government, and it will be okay. Yeah.
All right. So I think we've, touched upon all the relevant topics and have had a great discussion with you. And definitely, it is with no doubt that this relationship looks very bright and one of the areas wherein FII can have a very strong foothold with its counterpart, Asian Arab Chamber of Commerce in Israel.
Yes, I hope so. I mean,
And
yeah.
I thank you, Miss Alisa, for your time today. It was, as always, great, wonderful talking to you and hear your story, your motivation, your passion, and the kind of work that you're doing. And today we got an opportunity to share it with everybody through our platform. So thank you so much. Um, and very soon, hopefully, we will be able to have an official visit of FII in Israel as well.
Yeah, I hope so. And first of all, always when I speak to India, I always smile. It's like it's an energy for me also, not just for you, it's for energy. And if there's anything else I can help and do anything, I'm always here for India, everything. Really. So yeah.
I really appreciate your gesture. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
we will talk very soon. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaste and shukriya.
Namaste.
Namaskar.